A role-playing game, or RPG, is a genre that has the player control one or more characters in a story, developing their skills and personality over time. RPGs measure your character's growth with a series of numbers, or stats, that indicate how good the character is at each skill or ability. For example, the higher your character's strength stat is, the more damage they can do to enemies with a single attack. Generally speaking, the more enemies you defeat or tasks you successfully complete, the stronger you get. Most RPGs, though not all, take place in a science fiction or fantasy setting, and involve combat against monsters or other characters. These characteristics, as well as much of their mechanics and structure, are inherited from traditional pen-and-paper tabletop RPGs, like Dungeons & Dragons. Gameplay in RPGs can vary widely from game to game, but most can be put into one of two categories: turn-based RPGs and action RPGs. A turn-based RPG has the player and their opponents taking turns with attacks and other actions during combat, whereas an action RPG has the player control their character in real time. Other types of RPG include the strategy RPG, where characters are moved around a field or grid during combat, and the massively multiplayer online RPG, or MMO, where thousands of players around the world play in shared virtual spaces over the internet. RPGs can differ greatly depending on what part of the world they're from. Japanese role-playing games, or JRPGs, tend to have several predefined playable characters and a linear story. These include series like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Persona. Western RPGs, on the other hand, are usually much more open-ended, giving players the opportunity to create their own character from scratch and influence the outcome of the story, often at their own pace in an open world. These include North American and European franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, and The Witcher. The RPG is one of the most enduring and influential genres in video games. These games are beloved for their emphasis on storytelling, character growth, world building, and player choice. While many of these games can be intimidatingly complex and dense, especially for newcomers, the genre is vast enough that I think anyone can find a game that fits their interests and skill level. Here are a few of my own recommendations for RPG beginners. Pokémon, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. A pair of new games designed specifically to streamline the Pokémon experience for newcomers. Pokémon, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are remakes of the original Game Boy Color Pokémon games for the Nintendo Switch. They follow the basic format of all the Pokémon RPGs. Set out on an adventure to catch monsters, befriend them, help them grow, and battle with them against other Pokémon trainers. The more battles you and your team of Pokémon win, the stronger they become, until they evolve into new creatures with better abilities. If you're looking for an easy, lighthearted experience with plenty of exploration and a simple story, or if you just love cute animals, give these games a shot. If you like this game, there's dozens of other Pokémon installments to try. Although I'd also recommend Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, if you're looking for a similar experience with more complex mechanics and a gorgeous anime-inspired art style. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Originally released on the Game Boy Advance, this Nintendo 3DS remake of the first game in the Mario & Luigi series of RPGs follows our favorite Italian mustached heroes as they team up with Bowser to get Princess Peach's voice back from a new set of villains. With a fun, timing-based battle system, lots of platforming and puzzle solving, great music and visuals, slapstick humor, and some really funny writing, Superstar Saga is an excellent choice for anyone looking for something not too complicated and with lots of gameplay variety. If you enjoy this game, you can also play any of the other Mario & Luigi sequels on DS and 3DS, the first two Paper Mario games on Nintendo 64 and GameCube, or the grandfather of all these games, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for the Super Nintendo. Kingdom Hearts. This is the series that got me into RPGs, and I'm still a big fan of this Disney Final Fantasy crossover. Kingdom Hearts is an action RPG that takes the platforming, sword fighting, and puzzle solving gameplay of something like the 3D Zelda games, and combines it with RPG mechanics like leveling up your stats, outfitting yourself with ability-altering equipment, and having a revolving door of support characters in your party to help out during combat. The story follows a young hero named Sora, who must team up with Donald Duck and Goofy to travel across different worlds based on classic Disney movies, fighting monsters with a legendary weapon called a Keyblade. The whole thing is undoubtedly very weird and cheesy, and the plot just gets more complex and ridiculous as the series goes on. But it's also genuinely heartwarming and a lot of fun. Kingdom Hearts is a great choice if you're a fan of Disney movies and stories about the power of friendship, or are looking for an RPG with lots of action. If you like this game, there's a whole bunch of other games in this series that improve and expand upon the combat systems, and of course, visit plenty more Disney worlds. Plus, if this series gets you interested in Final Fantasy, the most recent installment, 15, has gameplay similar to Kingdom Hearts, and is a great place for newcomers to start. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. One of the most popular and influential RPGs ever made, Skyrim is a Western-style action RPG set in a fantasy world. You play a fully customizable character called the Dragonborn, the last of a line of beings with the ability to absorb the souls of dragons and gain their strength and wisdom. Although it can be a pretty complex RPG, Skyrim is loved for how much freedom it gives its players. Want to follow the main plot, slay dragons, and take a side in the oncoming civil war? You can do that. Want to walk in a random direction until you find a cave full of booby traps and zombies and lots of treasure? You can do that too. Want to help random folks with their problems and settle down in your own house? No problem. You can choose to immerse yourself in the vast lore and complicated mechanics, or you can take it easy and make your own fun. This level of choice isn't just restricted to gameplay either. Skyrim is available on pretty much every platform under the sun, including PC, PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Switch. It's a great choice if you love the idea of exploring a huge, beautiful open world, if you want to make your own unique experience, or if you just want to slay dragons. If you like Skyrim, the last two games in the Elder Scrolls series, Morrowind and Oblivion, are also great installments that hold up well. There's also the Fallout series, another open-world RPG by the same developer, but in a sci-fi, post-apocalyptic setting with lots of dark humor. And The Outer Worlds, a recent and similar sci-fi RPG from the original creators of Fallout. Fire Emblem: Three Houses. Fire Emblem is a long-running series of strategy RPGs, where you control a group of characters that move across a gridded battlefield in large-scale fantasy conflict. Recent entries in the series have put a larger focus on the relationships between your characters, going so far as to let you pair them romantically. What makes this most recent entry on the Nintendo Switch unique is that it combines all of this with a school sim, where you play the professor and your soldiers are your students. In between the epic battles that are Fire Emblem's bread and butter, each week you can choose who you want to tutor to increase their stats in particular areas, talk to your students and fellow faculty members, explore the academy grounds, send your students to different extracurricular activities, have tea, go fishing. The possibilities are almost endless. Altogether, Three Houses creates a unique and engaging experience that's just as enjoyable for tactical strategy fans as it is for those of us more interested in learning character backstories and making the best romantic pairings. If you like this game, you could also try the other Fire Emblem games like Awakening or Fates, both on 3DS, and the Persona series, another school-based RPG with a focus on relationships in addition to combat. Those are my personal suggestions for beginners, but there are so many different kinds of RPGs that I couldn't possibly cover them all. So, RPG veterans, I'm asking for your help. What are your suggestions for newbies trying to get into role-playing games? And are there any favorite franchises I didn't mention that you think are worth a look? Sound off in the comments, and in the meantime, subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media for updates on future videos. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.